Hi, Meghan.
Bring it in the middle.
God, having failed at making jam, potpourri and coloured water, flavoured water.
There was a buzz once, a real electric Hollywood buzz around Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. People whispered that she was about to reclaim her throne, not the royal one she walked away from, but the glittering Hollywood spotlight she once dreamed of. After fleeing palace walls and rewriting her own destiny, she was meant to return bigger, brighter, and bolder than ever before. And trust me, for a moment, it actually looked like it was happening. There was a time when the Duchess of Sussex was Hollywood's brightest, a returning star, a woman who had walked away from royalty, rewritten her story, and was ready to reclaim the spotlight on her own terms. Hollywood insiders whispered her name like she was some kind of reborn superstar. After years of silence and distance from the public eye, she suddenly had the world leaning in again, waiting for her next move. And what a move. It was a massive streaming giant handed her a multi-million-dollar deal. Writers murmured about scripts being tailored for her. Directors gushed that this was Meghan's era of rebirth.
I know! I'm so happy. There's such a great crowd, and they had no idea you were here, and this is fantastic.
The Duchess wasn't just coming back. She was coming back powerfully. Behind the tall hedges and sun-drenched gates of her luxurious LA compound, cameras rolled. Her team buzzed with excitement. Her new docuseries felt like a fresh start, a new narrative, a new Meghan. The title alone said it all. I'm Meghan. A declaration. A reclaiming. This wasn't supposed to be a show. It was supposed to be a statement. After years of silence, she had the world's attention again. A streaming platform had handed her a multi-million-dollar deal. Scripts were being whispered about in studio corridors. Directors spoke of a rebirth. The Duchess stepping not just back into fame, but into power. And for a while, it worked. Behind the gates of a sun-drenched Los Angeles compound, the production for her new docuseries was in motion. Cameras followed her morning rituals. Her team calls her Vision Sessions. The show titled I'm Meghan was meant to showcase strength, grace, and resilience, the ultimate Hollywood redemption arc. At first, it all looked magical. She arrived each morning in soft, neutral outfits, glowing with that almost royal calmness. The crew described her presence as this mix of serenity and command. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't rush, she just led. She personally walked through lighting setups, adjusting tiny details because she wanted everything to be perfect. But more than perfection, she wanted truth, or at least that's what the official statement from her team proclaimed.
Been watched.
Is that right?
45 billion as of this week.
This project will reveal the woman behind the headlines. It sounded poetic. Hollywood loved it. Fashion magazines practically swooned, calling it the comeback of the decade. Studios whispered that Meghan was about to completely reinvent herself. Inside the set, everything sparkled with intention. Golden lighting, minimalist decor, an intimate confessional tone. She sat cross-legged in a cream cashmere sweater, talking about self-healing, forgiveness, self-discovery, everything that made the story feel like a spiritual reboot. But as one insider later put it, the version of Meghan the cameras captured when they were off wasn't the same one they captured when they were on. But as one insider would later say, what was meant to save her career ended up revealing everything she had tried to hide. Because somewhere between ambition and image, between control and chaos, something cracked. And that crack, it didn't happen overnight. It started quietly. So quietly, the crew didn't realize what was coming. In the early days, you could still feel hope radiating through the set. She walked in smiling, carrying coffee, exchanging warm greetings. But beneath the surface, there was a tension that slowly began to build, like a storm brewing behind soft clouds.
Probably was different several years ago.
Every detail had to be perfect. Every angle approved. Every word weighed. The crew whispered about tiny flare-ups, endless reshoots, obsessive playback checks, and hours spent on a 5-second scene if the lighting wasn't warm enough. One person described working with her as walking on eggshells, not because she was cruel, but because the pressure was crushing and everything mattered too much. The network noticed delays. Budgets got heavier. Schedules stretched beyond what anyone expected. But to her, this wasn't chaos. This was art. This was her moment, and she wasn't going to allow even one flaw to ruin it. She allegedly told one executive, "If I'm going to be seen again, I have to get it right this time." But perfection always has a price, and Meghan was about to pay it. Viewers would have seen perfection, but according to multiple insiders, that wasn't what the cameras captured when they stopped rolling. By week 2, tension had begun to simmer. Crew members spoke quietly among themselves. All about reshoots, control issues, and off-camera outbursts. One producer described the atmosphere as walking on eggshells. It wasn't hostility, they said. It was pressure, a kind of relentless demand that every frame, every gesture, every tone mean something. She'd watch playback over and over. One insider revealed if a single angle wasn't flattering or the lighting wasn't warm enough, she'd say, "We need to do it again." Sometimes she'd redo a 5-second shot for hours. Slowly, painfully, the project began to crack under its own weight. Still, no one expected what happened next, because the day everything changed began just like any other. She arrived early, coffee in hand, her personal team right behind her, adjusting schedules, checking call sheets.
I said before, the problem about Meghan is she always looks good. She always survives. You never see a moment of weakness in public.
The same cannot be said about hair.
Cameras were being set for a day in the life sequence, family time, creative meetings, reflections on healing. It was supposed to be gentle, beautiful, wholesome. Instead, it became the moment her entire comeback fell apart. Someone still unknown decided to record what happened that afternoon, and that secret audio would blow everything wide open. The day everything changed started like any other. The Duchess arrived early, coffee in hand, her personal team trailing behind. Cameras were being set for a day in the life sequence, a mix of family time, creative meetings, and a reflective monologue about healing after a public judgment. But just hours later, the project would be derailed by something no one saw coming, because someone still unidentified recorded what happened on set that afternoon. And what that audio contained would shake her comeback to its core. According to the leaked transcript, Meghan was arguing with a senior producer, not shouting, but firm, clipped, tense. She wanted a particular emotional scene removed completely. A moment where she cried on camera. She didn't want pity. She wanted admiration. She wanted control. "I don't want people's pity," she said.
At our cottage, just a standard, typical night for us.
It's a cozy night. It was what we're doing, just roasting chicken and having
trying to roast.
Sharply, "I want their respect." The producer pushed back gently, trying to explain that the moment was raw and powerful, real, something viewers would connect with. But Meghan's reply chilled the room. "It's not real if I didn't choose it." A silence followed. Then the sound of something falling, a chair? A binder? No one knows. And then the recording ends. Within 2 days, the audio leaked. By morning, it was everywhere. Twitter exploded. Hashtags trended globally. Memes took over Instagram. Talk show hosts mocked the meltdown. Debates erupted. Was she too demanding? Or was she just trying to protect her image? The network panicked. Lawyers scrambled. Executives called emergency meetings. And Meghan disappeared. She hid from cameras for days. And when she finally emerged, people barely recognized her. No glowing smiles, no confident elegance, just a woman who looked exhausted, shaken, and heartbroken. Insiders whispered that she broke down in front of her PR team, crying as she said, "I just wanted to be seen for who I really am." But the damage was already done. The moment that leaked audio hit the internet, Meghan's world flipped upside down. Brands that once begged to collaborate with her suddenly froze. One luxury label, the one insiders said she was ecstatic about, quietly paused their partnership. A major podcast sponsor stepped back. And the streaming platform, executives were whispering behind closed doors about shelving the entire series. It felt like every frame of her docuseries became radioactive. Anyone who watched the footage, insiders said, couldn't stop hearing that leaked audio echoing in their heads. It changed everything: her tone, her image, her message. And Hollywood, that glamorous machine built on reinvention and second chances, started turning its back. Agents stopped responding. Magazine. Editors pivoted from praising her to analyzing her downfall. Think pieces appeared overnight with headlines like, "The Duchess in the Danger of Overexposure." Even people in her inner circle began to whisper, maybe she pushed too hard. Maybe the public is exhausted. Maybe the Dakes narrative is just tired. The worst blow came from the audience itself. Viewers, the same viewers who once adored her vulnerability, started questioning whether it was real. Was the vulnerability she showed on camera genuine, or was it another performance? Had the woman who once escaped the world of palace facades built a new one around herself? That question stung the most, because authenticity was the foundation of everything she was trying to build. In the weeks that followed, Meghan worked tirelessly behind the scenes to salvage her image. She held secret meetings with crisis consultants, she rewrote public statements, she planned a big interview to tell her side of the story. But then another leak. Word got out that she'd hired a top-tier political PR firm, the same type used by senators and CEOs in Scandal. Immediately, tabloids labeled it the Duchess's last stand. Rumors spread fast. One insider claimed the network had already decided the show in its current form was unreleasable. Unofficially, they said they halted production because the narrative can't be fixed. Every day brought a new headline. Every headline brought more speculation. And through it all, Meghan stayed painfully, hauntingly silent. Then a familiar clip resurfaced online, that cozy moment of her and Harry joking about roasting chicken. Harmless, sweet, normal. But fans didn't see it as charming anymore. Instead, people dissected it, comparing the warmth of that moment to the coldness of the leaked audio. The contrast was brutal. This month here at our cottage, just a standard typical night for us. A cozy night. It was, what were we doing? Just roasting chicken and navigating chicken. Trying to roast chicken. Trying to roast? While the internet mocked and magnified her every word, Meghan's emotional state behind the scenes was deteriorating fast. One person who saw her during those days described her as utterly heartbroken. Not furious, not defensive, just broken. She cried a lot, the insider. She revealed. She kept saying things like, "I tried to do everything right this time. I tried to show them my heart." And as that sentiment echoed through Hollywood, a paradox formed. Had the world turned on Meghan? Or had Meghan tried too hard to control how the world saw her? Her entire comeback years in the making was now being dissected like a cautionary tale. A reminder that in Hollywood, authenticity is worshipped, but perfectionism is punished. The leak didn't feel like a scandal anymore. It felt like the unraveling of her entire second act. But Hollywood is a town. It is built on whispers. And when Meghan's leak dropped, the whispers exploded into a tidal wave. Inside giant streaming offices, chaos erupted. Executives held late-night conference calls. Their voices were tight, tense. You could almost feel the panic vibrating through the hallways. Do we pull in the series? Do we re-edit? Do we push for transparency? Or do we let it die quietly? Everyone had an opinion, but no one had a solution. Agents who once chased her for deals were now advising clients to distance themselves. Meetings with directors, meetings that had been scheduled in weeks earlier, were quietly canceled. Emails went unanswered. The doors that once flew open for her were slamming shut. One studio executive said something that sliced through the industry. People bought her redemption. Now they're buying drama, and not the kind we can sell. Entertainment. Journalists drafted brutal headlines ahead of time. Hollywood's most expensive meltdown. The cost of control, Meghan's downfall. When comebacks collapse, even hosts who once praised her began raising doubts about her authenticity. Has she always been acting? Was the vulnerability real? Did the narrative slip through her fingers? Social media reacted in real time. Twitter threads multiplied like wildfire. Instagram meme pages feasted on every leaked second. Late night hosts cracked jokes about the meltdown. Through it all, Meghan hid, devastated, exhausted, overwhelmed. But she wasn't completely defeated. Those around her said she still had this flicker of determination in her eyes. She wanted to fix it. She wanted the world to understand her intention, even if her execution had been flawed. Behind closed doors, she spent hours watching footage. Hours rewriting notes, hours trying to figure out how the story slipped out of her control. She wasn't crying because of the embarrassment, one crew member said. She cried because she felt misunderstood. The leak became a full-blown media storm. Every detail, even the tiny ones, was magnified until they became weapons. The falling chair, the tension-filled silence, the off-camera sighs, the soft arguments, the exhaustion. Everything was repackaged as evidence against her. Gossip headlines flipped between sympathy and scorn. From royalty to reality, Meghan's struggle in Hollywood. Perfection or paranoia? Inside the Duchess's breakdown. When the comeback crumbles. Not even the teaser clips from her series could save her. Viewers who once adored her candid energy began commenting. Is she real? Why does it feel scripted? Is this authenticity or a performance? Meanwhile, Hollywood power players were split. Some insisted on a full rebrand. Cut out the crying, highlight the philanthropic work, push the humor, push the warmth. Others warned that sanitizing the narrative would destroy it. You can't fake authenticity now. It'll look worse than the leak. Directors backed out. Agents warned their talent to stay away. Fashion houses paused deals. Slowly, painfully, the Hollywood shine around her faded. But if there's one thing Meghan has always had, it's resilience. And she wasn't done fighting.